everyone. Welcome to another award-winning edition of the Locker Room Chat. We are here at the BBB TV12 Communications Studio here in beautiful Oak Ridge, Tennessee in the historic Grove Center. My name is John Williams and my co-host Eric Oakes.
Thanks for having me, brother.
How you doing, Big E?
I'm doing good, man. Been cold, brother. I'm over this cold already.
Yeah,
ready for some warm weather.
Warming up today.
Hopefully it gets warmer tomorrow.
Supposed to be in the 60s this weekend, so I wish Tennessee was home this weekend instead of next week, because next weekend is supposed to be cold, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Hey,
it's that time of year.
You Tennessee fans, I'd say y'all looking forward to football season being over with, ain't you?
Well, I'd say so. I'd say you're right there. First off, we'd like to lead off. We got some sad news to report. Of course, most everybody knows Cofield head football coach Keith Henry passed away unexpectedly last Saturday, and you know it's rocked the Cofield community and also across East Tennessee high school football. You know, our continued prayers and thoughts for Coach Henry's family, the community, and the school. Coach Henry, not only the head football coach at Cofield, he was assistant principal. And Eric, I know you're a Cofield alumni, played for the Yellow Jackets. What's your thoughts on this? It's just
heartbreaking, man. I mean, he's a pillar of the community, and not to get throwing anything else out there, but Jared, we love you too, brother. You got to get your butt better. We love you, man. Mm-hmm. And
Jared's his brother.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it just rocks you. I mean, it's like getting hit in a jaw by Mike Tyson. Just takes you down, and I mean, it's going to take a while to crawl back out of this. I mean, that's one of the most unexpected things that's ever happened in my life that I can remember. I mean, because Friday night he's on the sidelines calling a football game.
Right. Just a week ago Friday, he was at South Pittsburgh, and Coach Henry was at Cofield since 2008. He came from Oneida, where he was a co-head coach, I believe. He came to Cofield in 2008, coached 13 years. The Yellow Jackets in the playoffs every year as well.
Just unbelievable
of course,
resume and person. I mean, I guarantee you there ain't a kid that's ever played for him didn't love him. Nobody that's ever interacted with him on any level didn't love him. He's very conversational, very kind, very open to the alumni, you know. I mean, he didn't keep us away from the football team or anything like that. I mean, he welcomed us in with open arms. I mean, he's a part of the family. Mm-hmm. And it's just awful. It sucks. We miss you, Coach. We love you.
One heartbeat. That's the rallying cry at Cofield right now.
It's been the rallying cry for Cofield for a few years now.
Has it?
And that was one of his favorites. I mean,
was that what? Okay, I've seen the hashtag and.
I think that came to be at Greenback in the playoffs. One of the best football games I've ever been to in my life. And we got a big win that night. A lot of celebrating, a lot of good memories with a lot of people that night. And it's just, it's hard to even talk about, you know, so fresh. It's just awful.
Right. Do you have any some stories, some good times? I know with Coach Henry. If you could share with everybody, you know, you're a big Cofield fan, and I know you had some interactions with Coach Henry. Talked to him, you know, earlier this year.
I have no doubt that the man loved me, but he wasn't a big rah-rah guy like me. I've been told to calm down on the sidelines a couple times. But he's, you know, I mean, he was just, he was a very methodical. You know, he was thinking about the fourth quarter when the ball was kicked. You know, I mean, he was. I'm out there playing checkers and he was playing chess. I mean, that's just a different mindset. And but you know, I had no pressure on me except for, you know, people looking at me crazy, which I'm used to that. But you know, it's just unbelievable, you know, see how he interacted and how he coached individually on the practice field just as hard as he did in the game. You know, you go down there and you'd stand and watch practice, and it was the most small, minute thing that he would notice that he would make sure was corrected before Friday night. It didn't matter if it was a step in the wrong direction, you know, by a wide receiver or a defensive back or the line. I mean, he was hands-on all over and loved the kids. I mean, it was, you know, hard work, sacrifice, determination, teamwork, brotherhood, family. That's been Cofield's. I mean, that's been Cofield for as long as I've known Cofield my life. I mean, we're family, and we've lost a part of our family, and it's awful.
Right. Yeah, Cofield's a great football program. Coach Henry coming from Oneida took over for Coach Chris. Right.
Oh yeah, and you know, that's when Coach Chris decided he didn't want to be there no more. It was very.
That's some big shoes to fill right there.
Big shoes to fill. And buddy, he must wore a size 15 because he jumped right on in there. And I mean, it took him a couple years to get rolling, but once he got rolling, man, he rolled right on. He overtook Coach Chris a couple of years back. He's the all-time playoff winningest coach in the playoffs in Cofield history. He won more playoff games than Coach Chris did.
Right. Coach Henry, his playoff record at Cofield, 22-12 in 13 seasons. So that's almost 2 wins every year in the playoffs. And, of course, this year Cofield went to state semifinals for the first time since 2014. And
that year we played for the gold ball.
Right. And the 12 wins this year is the most in Cofield history, correct?
Tied for most, yes.
Tied for the most.
Yeah, that makes twice we've had 12 wins. But we was really hoping to get that 13th this year, buddy. I mean, but South Pittsburgh had other plans for us, and you know, it is what it is on that side of things.
You know, Coach Henry, his record at Cofield was 115-48. That's in the 13 seasons taken over in 2008. Counting his coaching career at Oneida, overall he was 165 wins, 67 losses. That's pretty good right there. That's almost 100 more wins and losses.
I'd take it right down. You know,
right, and of course, as I mentioned, 22-12 at Cofield for the playoffs, and his career was 27-17. Took the Yellow Jackets to the state finals in 2014. Finished runner-up that year. Was that Cofield's? Was that their first trip to the state finals?
First ever. Yeah. I mean, we made it in baseball and won it, but yeah, that's the first trip in football we've ever made. And hey, we gave them boys from Union City all they wanted for a half, but they were just bigger, stronger, made halftime adjustments, turned the ball over a couple times in the second half. You can't do that and expect to win, not in a game like that.
You was telling me a story one time about Coach Henry. You went on. It was during one of the practices. I guess it was during the playoffs. I'm not sure, but you was on the field, or you came on the practice field one time, and
I got in trouble that day.
He asked you to leave, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was being a little rambunctious for practice, but I believe we was getting ready to play Oneida that week, and I'd watched practice for about 30 minutes at this point, and I'd seen a little more lollygagging than I wanted to see, and seen some missed passes, and I was just like, hey. Well, I said it a lot louder than that. But I was like, you got to catch that. And he goes, hey, this is practice. You don't need to be like that. We're learning out here. He said, just go on. We'll see you Friday night. I mean, he wasn't mean about it, but yeah, I did. I got asked to leave practice that day.
But I caught a couple playoff games this year at Cofield. I saw the Greenback game and also the Oliver Springs game, and Coach Henry on the sidelines. And, I saw him congratulating, they was Coach Green, Oliver Springs after the game. They met up, and Coach David Queener said, Coach Henry always wore shorts on the field.
I never got to ask anything about that. But, man, I've been out there in my coveralls freezing to death and look over, and there he was, shorts and pullover, little hoodie.
Khaki shorts.
Yeah, like it wasn't nothing. I said, dang, man, he's tougher than me. But, if I had to use one word to describe him, it wouldn't have anything to do with his toughness. He was class. He was class act. Like you said, he was always the first to congratulate the other team in victory or defeat. He was, we wasn't one of them teams that wasn't going to go out there and shake hands after the game. I mean, going off the field, bad sportsman. There was no bad sportsman-like conduct under him. And if there was, boy, I bet there was some running done on Monday. So
we got Queener calling in now. What do you say, David?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, big guy?
How you doing?
Man. I'm not doing a lot. Just flipped over here to catch y'all and heard you talking about Coach Henry, and heard you say one thing about him. Class act, kind man, and loved his kids. And he loved that school down there, loved that community. That's, we're in the middle of a playoff game at Cofield, and I'm standing on the sideline. I'm back down from the team, down the sideline a little bit. He made a beeline during the game and shook my hand, and he told me, hey, I'm glad you're here tonight. It means a lot to the kids here. I was just there watching. Brad was filming, doing his thing. That's just the type of guy he is. And guys, I think he wore them khaki shorts because it's good luck. That's what I think. He never did tell me, but as you said, I always ask you about it. You gonna wear him? Are you wearing him shorts? And you know it. And I'm not from Cofield. I'm a Clinton guy, like everybody knows. But I don't care to tell you, my world got rocked Saturday when I got that news. It was just some devastating news. The East Tennessee football families around here. They lost a person Saturday that really cared about kids and just their well-being. And my thoughts and prayers goes out to that community and to everyone down there, and especially to his family and kids, because it's a loss to them too. But man, that's just a devastating loss. This will be tough for Cofield to get over.
Exactly. And David, you did this show for a number of years with Ron Berry, and I know you got to know Coach Henry over the years, and as you mentioned that story, him coming down shaking your hand, and I never really got to meet Coach Henry personally. Just heard some stories. But did you all ever did Coach Henry ever come on the show? Because I know last year we tried to get him to come on, but he just sent some of his players up. I don't know if he ever came on this show. Was he just that type of just shine?
Yeah, John, he was just that type. He would send kids up. We never could get him to come on the show. He was all about, wanting to talk about the kids. And even when I talked to him on Friday night, the accolades went to the players and to his coaching staff. And, that coaching staff, I don't know how long they've been together, but they've been together a long time. And I know his brother's a little under the weather right now too, and I'm thinking about him because that staff's pretty tight there. And No, he never would come on, John. He always would send players up, and he wanted the exposure for his kids, and he always left it. Hey, I appreciate it. Appreciate what you're doing for his football team or this community down here. That's just the way he was. That's the type of guy. And you know what, guys? Most of the coaches right around here that we associate with on every Friday night basis, that's just the way they all are, really.
Right, sort of shied away from the limelight and put all the attention on the kids. And did Coach Henry, did he graduate from Oneida, do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't know about that. I only knew that he was I didn't know he was the co-head coach up there. I just know he coached up there. That's all I knew. I didn't know that. I heard that later on in the last 3 or 4 days that he was the co-head coach up there. I didn't even know that. I just knew he came as a coach from there down to Cofield, and like I said, man, he's just an exceptional guy, a good guy. I only knew him through football, and when I got to see him in the playoffs or got a chance to do a game and talk to him before the game, but he's always arms wide open for you to come down there and do the game. He loved it when you come down there because it meant something to him, just because he thought the kids were going to get some attention. And if you're there, you always give them the attention anyway. But I just found it amazing that we're in the middle of a playoff game, and he comes over and shakes my hand, and when I say we're in the middle of the game, I mean the game is going on. Plays are being run, and he comes over, shakes my hand, and tells me how I appreciate you being here. It means a lot to the kids, and I'll take that with me when I'm no longer here. I'll take that with me to my grave. That just means a lot to me. And I just want to say my prayers and thoughts to the Cofield community.
The Cofield community needs all they can get because there's some hurting people out that way, and it's just like you said, man. I mean, it's gonna be hard for us to get over this. I mean, it's a different world. I mean, without him in it there. I mean, it's
yeah, Eric, when he was there, Coach Chris was still alive at the time, and made it to a lot of games, and people got to see Coach Chris. And I knew Coach Gary Chris since I was probably 15 or 16 years old. I mean, I knew him before he actually got to become famous down at Cofield, being the head coach. He worked with my mom for a little while, and that's how I got to know Gary. And he was around for a while. But man, I tell you, they replaced when they took Coach Henry, he replaced a legend. Now somebody's going to have to replace 2 legends, and I tell you what, there's going to be some big shoes to fill. Who gets Coach Henry's job? It's going to be big.
That's beyond my ability to even think about right now.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. I like I said, man, it devastated me Saturday. I'm gonna be honest with you, it just messed my day all up. And I told my wife, "Come on, we got to go and get out of here. I got to quit thinking about this." It was really hard news because he's just, and people that don't know him don't understand. He was just really a down to earth, good person. I didn't know him well, but I knew him, I think, well enough. But man, he was just a good guy. Guys, it's hard to find good people today. And when you lose one of them, they're hard to replace. And he's one of those guys. He's a good guy.
I agree. He genuinely loved.
Yeah.
Well, David,
hey guys, appreciate you letting me talk a little bit here.
Yeah.
Y'all continue on, and I hope other people call in about Coach Henry. And like I say, my thoughts and prayers to the community and to his family.
All right, David, we appreciate you calling in and sharing some stories about Coach Henry.
Hey, Queener.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, I told you so.
You told me so. Oh, yeah, on the text you sent me that about Ohio State.
Hey, they canceled the game, and the Big Ten said, "Oh, well, you don't have to have 6 games to play in the conference championship no more."
Well, talking about that right quick, the guy that is over the committee.
He's an Ohio State guy.
He's the Iowa athletic director. He's part of that. So, sure, he's going to, because that's going to knock Ohio State, probably would knock them out of the top 4 if he could play in that championship game. So, that was a no-brainer right there. They've been calling for that. For a week ever since there was some thought that Michigan might opt out on them just to try to mess over them.
I have to say I'm proud of Michigan for being petty enough to do it, because I would have done the same thing.
I heard that, buddy. And you know what you said? Hey, you said something a while ago. Said you got thrown out of practice. That doesn't surprise me a bit that you got thrown out of practice.
Well, no, it shouldn't surprise anybody. When I get around football, I turn into a different person. I bring it up a few notches.
Well, I've never heard you tell that story, but that don't surprise me one bit. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you, Corner.
Right. Thank you, David, for calling in. And as David said, we're praying for the Cofield community and Coach Henry's family and the school. And we're going to go ahead and take a break now. But Coach Henry, you'll definitely be missed. And we'll be back in a little bit. Talk some more sports here on the Locker Room Chat.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Muncie Pharmacy is your locally owned hometown pharmacy. They accept most insurances, so why go to the large chain pharmacies when you get better customer service at Muncie Pharmacy? Have a special prescription that needs compounding? Muncie Pharmacy can handle those needs as well. Muncie Pharmacy has a drive-through for your convenience and offers free delivery in the Oak Ridge area. And don't forget the gifts that we have available for all occasions.
Here at Muncie Pharmacy, we take the time to know you and treat you like family.
At Earl F. Subaru, providing exceptional customer service is what we do best, and we've got the awards to prove it.
We've been recognized as Tennessee's only 9-time winner of the Love Promise Customer Commitment Award. And again this year, we also earned the Love Promise Community Commitment Award given for enhancing the areas we serve. At Earl F. Subaru, we're more than just a car lot. We're a retailer you can love and one that gives back to local causes. Check out our reviews that come to Earl F. Subaru in Harriman.
Take I-40 to exit 347 in Harriman, or check all our specials at duffsubaru.com.
OEB Law is excited to be a part of this year's football season. School spirit is at an all-time high. OEB Law is proud to give back and support our community. Come cheer on these great teams with us. And remember, if you've been injured or need legal help, OEB Law will be there for you. So visit wreckintoacheck.com or give us a call, 865-546-1111, and let OEB Law turn your wreck into a check.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
Welcome back into the Locker Room Chat, and here with Eric Oakes and talking football. And Eric, we had the state finals this past weekend.
Oak Ridge come up a little short. That's disappointing. I
Right.
think the only team from around here that brought it home was Alcoa, wasn't it?
Correct, yeah, Alcoa. They won the 3A championship, defeating Milan 35-0. It was Alcoa's sixth straight state championship and their eighth straight championship game overall, and also back-to-back shutouts in the state championship. Last year, they shut out Pearl Cone.
Now, did you hear that stat they gave the other day? Gary Rankin's got 19 state championships.
19?
19.
And,
I mean, that's unbelievable for one coach to have 19 at 2 schools. He didn't done it all just at Alcoa.
Right, he was at Riverdale.
Yeah, Murfreesboro, Riverdale. So, but now he said that I listened to his interview after that, and he said he runs the same practice and the same practice schedule, the same process at 3A Alcoa that he ran at 6A Riverdale. Just less kids out there, but he's got the same amount of coaches. Some of them paid, some of them not paid, but. He said the only reason he's been as successful as he is because he's surrounded himself with a lot of people that are smarter than he was. I thought that was just one of the best comments I'd ever heard.
Well, I believe they asked him how long he was going to coach, and he said he didn't know. He just takes it 1 year at a time, and, he's not really worrying about state championships. He's just worrying about just getting better as the year goes and having a good team, and hopefully you get there,
And he said, too, and preparing them kids for the adversity that life's going to give them. I mean, making sure they're ready for life when they leave Alcoa, to be prepared to face whatever life brings their way, because he said, I don't want them to never face anything than going through a spring football with me. I mean, but I'm telling you, you go through two a days, buddy. That's tough. I mean, that'll get you, grow some hair on your chest to make a man out of you fast.
They don't do that much anymore, to 2 a day. I know some coaches used to have 3 a days.
Most I ever had was 2 days, but Lord, it happened. It started early and then ended late, and you go eat. And
I don't think they do that much anymore, but I don't know. They may do it at Alcoa.
They might. I don't know. All he said was a spring football practice, spring football with him. So I'd say spring football, they must go pretty hard up there.
Dylan, if you could throw those scores back up, and as you can see there, we'll start with 1A. These games were played last Friday. Sort of I guess you call it an upset here. Most people had South Pitt pegged to win the 1A. They came in undefeated playing the Fayetteville, a team that had 2 losses. It's Fayetteville's first ever state championship, and they win over South Pittsburgh 20-14. That was probably the best game of those 6 right there.
Do you think South Pittsburgh was so fired up and so determined to beat Cofield in the 4th round to get to this game that they played their best game against Cofield and instead of saving it for the state championship? Because I'm telling you, that team I saw play Cofield would have beat the dog out of that Fayetteville team they lined up against. They didn't push them around. They didn't push them around like they wasn't firing off the ball like they did against Cofield. I mean,
I didn't know much about Fayetteville, but that first drive South Pitt had, Fayetteville stopped them on the goal line.
Right.
I think that was maybe a turning point in the game. That early in the game, they ended up punting, and then South Pitt fumbled, I believe. They got a fumble, so they had the ball right quick back, and they went down and scored. And
built their confidence just enough to get them hang on for a 6-point victory. Yeah.
In 2A, Meigs County, now I thought this game would be closer. They was playing Peabody, was the 2-time defending state champs. These teams met last year in the finals. I didn't get to see none of this game. But Peabody wins 35-13. Did you see any of this game?
I watched football for 2 straight days, man. I mean, and I was totally expecting Meigs County to really give them a good game, and that score doesn't even indicate how much of a whooping Peabody put on Meigs County. I mean, it was a physical domination.
It was pretty nice. I saw a little bit early in the game, but wasn't even scoring yet, I don't believe. But
well, they whooped them at the line of scrimmage, and when you win at the line of scrimmage, it makes it look easy the rest of the way around the field. When your quarterback's got 5-6 seconds to stand back there, or you got a hole big enough to drive a dump truck through when your running back's coming through, it just makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Peabody has a Mr. Tennessee football on their team. Khalid Ganaway, a running back, winning that award for Peabody. They're now 3-time defending champs, and they've got the longest winning streak in the state. I believe now it's 37 games for the Golden Tide.
What's that? Who's that beat? What? Kingsport Dolphins Bennett had it, didn't they? Or was it one Alcoa or Oakland, one of those teams? Who had the streak before they got it?
I think maybe Maryville.
Yeah, because nobody had beat Maryville since Oakland, had they? And then
Right.
Oakland beat Maryville again, and they alternated years. So Maryville hadn't lost in 2 years up until this. So okay.
But Peabody, yeah, they had the longest coming in, I believe, and now it's about
Just
37.
extended. I got you.
And as we mentioned, 3A with Alcoa over Milan, 35-0. 4A, no surprise there. Elizabethton, 41-14 over Haywood. They jumped all over Haywood from the get-go, and
They've just whooped everybody they played, haven't they? Elizabethton.
pretty much Greenville gave them both times. Well, you know, the last game against Greenville was a pretty close game. Went into the fourth quarter. That was probably their closest game of the year, I think, and maybe earlier in the season. It seems like Sullivan South gave Elizabethton a good game, but it was all Elizabethton in this one. The Cyclones winning their second straight Class 4A state championship, and they also had a Mr. Football winner on their team as well, the wide receiver Troy Parker Hughes.
Well, you could tell he was a man out there because, I mean, he would high point the football. You could tell. I mean, I'm sure that was well deserved. Yeah, I'm sure that was well deserved because you could just tell watching. I mean, midway through the second quarter, you could tell that guy was just on a different level.
Yeah, I think I was watching, he had an interception return for about 80 yards or so.
And he was quick, buddy. I'm telling you, there wasn't no slowing him down.
In 5A, Oak Ridge Wildcats taking on Summit. Oak Ridge's first state championship appearance since 2005, capping off a remarkable turnaround for the Wildcats. They were 2-3. They won 9 straight going into this state championship game, and just a, you don't want to say great season, but it really is what Oak Ridge did to get back.
Considering what the expectations were coming into the season.
Well, they were picked pretty much, supposed to be pretty good.
And then after week 5.
They were sort of, Coach Gaddis was getting a little heat there starting out 2-3. Oak Ridge was sort of picked to do really good this year. They got off to a slow start, and he's got better and better. Credit Coach Gaddis and his coaching staff for that. You could see their improvement.
Well, coming into the year, you were hearing all the hype about their running back. They had a Division I running back. Mm-hmm. Didn't they move him out to wide receiver? And
yeah, they did some things. They spread it out with him. Some they did, and especially against West, that was key in that win over West.
That says a lot for that kid's character, considering he's got Division I talent, Division I offers, and all that. To be able to be willing to switch positions to help his team. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of kids in that situation be like, "Coach, you're crazy. I'm a running back. That's what I'm getting a scholarship for. I'm not going to play wide receiver." Mm-hmm. But hey, he did it, and apparently it changed the offense because that team we saw from week 8 on, man, that defense was playing to where the offense all they had to do. You get 14 points, guys, we're gonna win tonight. I mean. And I gave up, 28 to Summit, but hats off to the Oak Ridge defense this year. I mean, it was they played really well. That defense is what got them where they got. I mean that.
Right, they were there all year. The defense.
Mm-hmm. The defense was.
Yeah. Summit winning their first state championship. They got to the finals last year and lost to Central, so they had a lot coming back. Their quarterback was really good, the Wade kid, and he was a Mr. Football finalist, and also his, I think, a twin brother at linebacker is a 4-star recruit. So Summit, a very good team. They got out to a quick start on Oak Ridge, 21-0. Oak Ridge scored right before halftime to make it a game, 21-7. I believe the freshman Brendan, is it Haywood?
I think so. I think that's right. Maybe. But, on a side note, I forgot to bring this up. I think I talked to you about this earlier in the week. I've never seen a stat like this. Alcoa gave up 2.4 points a game this year.
Alcoa?
Alcoa. 2.4 points a game. In 15 games. That's
yeah.
The only people that really scored on them was Maryville. They gave up 0 points in the region. They gave up no points to any region team all year long. None. 0. They shut out every team.
Yeah, they just keep getting better. Seems like here lately, it's year after year.
If you're coaching that situation, how do you inspire them to get better? We will not give up a point this year. I mean, what else do you got to go? I mean, when you're giving up 2.4 points a game, when you can win by kicking a field goal every game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And one of their players, Gray Carroll, won the Mr. Tennessee Football Award. He's a 6'4", 260-pound defensive end fullback going to committed to Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech's, man, they're
must be pretty smart too.
Oh yeah, you got to be smart to go there. What is it they say? You go to Georgia Tech to get education, not play football, but you get to play football while you're there, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like the Vanderbilt of the ACC.
Right, engineering school.
Right. I'm telling you, that just blows my mind. That 2.4 points a game is just unbelievable to me.
I like to see Alcoa. You think they might move up to 4A, but
get some
for another different challenge.
Get some challenge in there.
Right. Apparently they're going to stay in 3A. And that's
well,
good.
I don't think Kingston has to worry about Alcoa anymore, do they? Didn't they get out of that region?
I'm not sure on that.
I think Kingston got out of there.
Did they?
I think so. But if I was in a region with Alcoa, I'd appeal to move anywhere. Put me in 4A, put me in 2A, just get me out of here.
Kingston might want to move up.
They might. I don't know. I mean, I'm just telling you, I heard that Kingston's not in that region no more.
Well, that just probably delays the inevitable, but you're going to have to play them sometime. But in 6A, Oakland, no surprise there, all over Brentwood, 56-33. Did you watch that game?
I think I watched the first half of that one and was about wore out with football. But I was convinced that at halftime Oakland had it well in hand. So, but when you watch football for 9 hours straight for, days on end.
Plus you watched Tennessee and Florida that
I sure
day.
did, yeah. I mean,
we haven't touched on that.
Hey, I was impressed with the Vols. I thought they played better than Florida did. Florida just out athleted them.
I think Florida was sort of lightened up there at the end when Tennessee got those two scores.
No.
Tennessee had all three of their scoring drives were over 90 yards. J.T. Shrout, quarterback, he led two of the drives.
Right. Hey, all I know is the same players was on the field in the fourth quarter as they was in the second. I mean, we didn't have the third stringers in there.
Coach Pruitt said, that those were legit drives.
I agree with that. I thought Florida came in maybe a little overconfident. Thought they were just going to walk the dog with Tennessee maybe. Either that or looking forward, down the road to LSU or Alabama or something like that. But, I mean, it was Tennessee led 7-3 in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm. Had to lead there.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
What about Harrison Bailey? What's your opinion, your thoughts on his performance?
I think he missed 3 throws that could have kept drives alive when Tennessee had a lot of momentum, up 7-3. He had an out pattern to a wide open receiver and overthrew him by just maybe 3 or 4 yards, but just enough to where he couldn't get to it. That was on 3rd and 9 that they had to punt. And I think Florida went down and scored on that drive. I think, like I told you before the show, I mean, Tennessee didn't pay a price for it because we missed the field goal. But, you know, they faked that punt, and that dude was wide open. The punter hit him right in the hands, and he dropped the ball. I mean, that was a converted first down. They would have had the first down if he'd have caught the ball.
That was the best pass of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it was on target, and the guy just dropped it. But, you know, maybe they're so used to playing with JG that it was right here instead of right there, but he couldn't catch it. I don't know.
You had I think Jimmy Holiday, he's a converted quarterback. He's not got a whole lot of action playing wide receiver this year, but he's got a lot of potential, a lot of speed and quickness. But, yeah, that was a good pass.
But I'll say this. If Pruitt don't do it next year, I think he's gone.
Think you'll bring him back one more year, yeah?
Oh yeah, he's getting another year. To buy out the staff, it's like $18 million, and if they're trying to get them to take pay cuts because they're short on money, they're not paying no $18 million buyout.
What if we lose to Vanderbilt?
He still keeps his job.
Still think so?
Mm-hmm.
Think you lose to Kentucky and Vanderbilt and still keep your job?
I do. I think he keeps his job no matter what happens the rest of the year.
Well, I hope it don't come down to that. I hope we don't see that to see what happens there. But Tennessee a 15-point favorite over Vanderbilt, and got Texas A&M next week. But yeah, I'd like to see Coach Pruitt get another year. You know, in this day and time, it's the money they make. Sometimes they get flushed out pretty quick, and but you know he's got a quarterback coming in next year, another freshman. And Bailey's a freshman, so, you know, Tennessee just thinks better than their record. It's just been one of those years, 2020, I think he stayed with JG too long. But
I think staying with JG is what's going to save him his job, because he showed loyalty to the guys, and that's going to bring everybody a little bit closer together to believe in him when he tells them something. And if there's one thing that Philip Fulmer loves, I guarantee it's loyalty, because the program was not loyal to him when he was having a bad time over there. They booted him out as fast as they could.
Well, yeah, he'd been there, 18 seasons, I think, something like that.
You don't fire a coach to win you a national championship.
I agree.
If you win a national championship, you get to be the coach there as long as you want to, no matter what.
I agree. Now, I was not a supporter of that back in 2008. I thought it was something just told me it was bad, and like you say, loyalty, stability in the program, and I think Coach Fulmer, was run out, towards the end of the year, and I didn't like it, and I still don't like it, and I get in a lot of arguments with people saying it was time for him to go, but you just look at what's happened since he's left. We've gone through our worst stretch in the history of Tennessee football, and we're still in it.
And it's even capped off by the fact that you had one of the best coaches here that you could have possibly had, and it just so happened the Southern Cal job came open. I don't think if it was any other job besides USC that Lane Kiffin would have left.
That was his dream job.
I'm just saying, yeah. But, I mean, you had him. And
do you think Kiffin could?
I think Kiffin he'd be competing at a very high level right now at Tennessee if he's still here. You give him 3 years, he'll be competing at a high level at Ole Miss, right up until he puts them on probation.
Let's see now. Where was he at? Well, he was at Florida.
Yeah.
Florida Atlantic.
FAI or FIA?
Florida International.
International, yeah. I believe that's right.
He did pretty well there. He's got an offense there at Ole Miss, and they're not doing too bad this year themselves. They've won 4 or 5 games, I believe.
Hey, I will say this. If it becomes available, if Hugh Freeze stays at Liberty and they give Pruitt 1 more year, and Pruitt doesn't do what he wants, what the expectations are at UT, Hugh Freeze will be my next hire.
What about Jamie Chadwell?
Hugh Freeze
Coastal Carolina.
would be my next hire. You don't want the mullet bunch up there. Well, maybe he'd fit in over there.
He's a local boy.
He is from around here?
Chadwell,
I
he
didn't know
played in
that.
Anderson County.
Okay.
He's from Campbell County.
Have you seen all the mullets they got on that team?
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, but now I bet you that's the funnest locker room that you could ask to be in. I saw that pregame special, that game day special
Yeah.
they done on them. And
they're having fun.
oh, they are having fun, and they're winning.
And they beat BYU.
Yeah, I mean,
10-point underdog. And, Jamie Chadwell, he applied for the South Carolina job. He didn't get it. He was a finalist for it. But if somebody don't get him this year, if they have a year like this next year, they'll be beating his door down.
Well,
he still may get an offer this year.
did you see the craziest thing I've seen all week with all the COVID that's going on? Michigan ain't beat Ohio State in nearly a decade.
Right, 100.
And
well, yeah.
and Michigan is offering Harbaugh an extension on his contract.
They are.
Yes.
Still want him, huh?
They offered him an extension on his contract because his contract's up at the end of 2021, and they offered him an extension.
Mm-hmm.
Why? If you can't beat the red team, you're not going to make it in Michigan.
I didn't know they'd offered him an extension. I've been hearing some pro teams for wanting.
I mean,
He used to be at the 49ers and picked them to the Super Bowls. But speaking of Ohio State and Michigan, it's
yeah, I can't stand Ohio State.
first time in 102 years that game will not be played. 102 years, and
There you
Michigan's got some COVID issues, and
Oh, I'd have been petty about it too, man. Whether I'd had COVID or not, I'd have been petty about that. We ain't gonna let you. But then the Big Ten, man, they know Ohio State is their only chance to play for a national championship, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure they have a chance to get there. It'd be great if Northwestern beat them.
well, I don't blame the Big Ten. They're the best team in the Big Ten. I don't see them. They made that rule. You have to have 6 games, but also athletic directors take it back and give them. That's their best chance. I can't see them not. Give them their. They want what's best for their.
They want that money, brother.
Their conference.
They split that money,
Right,
don't they?
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that means every team in the conference is going to be in favor of Ohio State going, because everybody in the conference gets a cut of that national championship money.
As you say, they play Northwestern in their Big Ten championship. Northwestern's had a good year. Should be a good game. As far as Ohio State being in the top 4 of the playoffs now, that's a different story.
You want 20 points right now? Because Ohio State's going to have some style points to get in. I still believe that. Which is 6 wins after the Big Ten championship.
I think they get
if
in.
Texas A&M goes 9-1 in the SEC,
I think Ohio State will get in if they win.
I just can't stand Ohio State. I think they get preferential treatment. I ain't liked them since the phantom flag come flying out of the stands, pass interference at Miami when Miami beat them, and then Ohio State come back and won that championship.
I think the SEC, you got Alabama and Florida. Of course, they're going to play. If Alabama beats Florida, Florida's probably out because A&M's already beat Florida. And
Florida's going to have to score 60 to beat
Alabama beat A&M. Then you got Clemson and Notre Dame. They're going to play again in the ACC championship. And, if Clemson beats Notre Dame, if it's a close game, does Clemson and Notre Dame both go, you think, to the playoff?
Well, Clemson was without their starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, when they played Notre Dame the first time. So, I mean, that's got to be weighed in. Like, you've got to give Notre Dame a little bit of a leeway. Or, Clemson a little leeway on that. But if Trevor Lawrence plays and Notre Dame beats them again,
Oh yeah, Clemson.
I think you got to put
Clemson definitely out.
I think you got to put Notre Dame as the #1 seed because they've done more than anybody at that point. Because the SEC's not stacked this year, and Notre Dame has played all comers. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not in the conference. You know, they've played whoever they've had to play. I mean, they ain't back down from nobody, and they ain't lost. And I'm not a big Notre Dame guy, but this year, under these circumstances, I mean, they've done it better than anybody but Alabama so far.
I agree with you there. That's why they're both 1 and 2 right now. But we're going to go ahead and take our last break. And we'll be back here shortly. Stick around. You're watching the Locker Room Chat.
Football is back. And OEB Law is excited for a season full of big hits, perfect plays, and those nail-biting near misses. If you've been injured, OEB Law will come to your defense and tackle any obstacles blocking you from scoring a full and fair settlement. Call OEB Law 865-546-1111 and turn your wreck into a check.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. We treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
At Earl F. Subaru, providing exceptional customer service is what we do best, and we've got the awards to prove it.
We've been recognized as Tennessee's only 9-time winner of the Love Promise Customer Commitment Award. And again this year, we also earned the Love Promise Community Commitment Award given for enhancing the areas we serve. At Earl F. Subaru, we're more than just a car lot. We're a retailer you can love and one that gives back to local causes. Check out our reviews that come to Earl F. Subaru in Harriman.
Take I-40 to exit 347 in Harriman, or check all our specials at duffsubaru.com.
Muncie Pharmacy is your locally owned hometown pharmacy. They accept most insurances, so why go to the large chain pharmacies when you get better customer service at Muncie Pharmacy? Have a special prescription that needs compounding? Muncie Pharmacy can handle those needs as well. Muncie Pharmacy has a drive-thru for your convenience and offers free delivery in the Oak Ridge area. And don't forget the gifts that we have available for all occasions.
Here at Muncie Pharmacy, we take the time to know you and treat you like family.
Welcome back in the Locker Room Chat. You see the phone lines there. Give us a call. We're going to be on to 9 o'clock here, so we got a little bit of time left. Right now we're going to talk about some high school basketball here locally. We'll talk about the girls here. First, Eric, you mentioned the Cofield girls.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good this year.
They're off to a 5-2
start.
5-2.
The girls and boys, I think, both got wins at Greenback, and something to help the community have a positive thing to look at. They, I believe, they honored Coach Henry in that game. Wore patches on their uniforms, and went out and got a win on the road, boys and girls.
They also defeated Oakdale. Well, the girls defeated Oakdale last night. Also, some other girls, Andrews County girls defeated Grace earlier in the week. They're now 3-3 on the year. They will be at home this Friday against Campbell County. Harriman girls are 2-1. They defeated Midway 44-35, and next Tuesday they were at Cofield.
Now, has Harriman had some COVID issues or something? Because I mean, you got 3-3, 5-2, and then they're at 1-2. I mean,
not sure.
Not playing, not just not playing as many games.
I'm not sure. I get these scores off Coach T, and sometimes they don't get called in. But I know the Clinton girls they're battling some COVID issues. They're supposed to play at Oak Ridge this Friday, but that game's been canceled. The boys' game, the Clinton boys will play at Oak Ridge, and I think the Oak Ridge girls have picked up Alcoa this Friday, so I do know that.
Big rivalry game there.
Yeah, big rivalry game. Oak Ridge boys, they beat Carnes last night, 107-65, and
they're making it a habit of scoring 100 points somewhere, ain't they?
They went over 100 against Halls, and really playing well.
You just don't see that in high school.
Their only loss was to Kingston, and Kingston boys are undefeated. They defeated Fulton last night, 66-55. Kobe Raymer had 23 and Harper Neal had 15 for the Kingston Yellow Jackets.
Kingston might just be the team to beat.
They have a good team this year, sure do. And Kingston girls are 1-2. They lost to Fulton last night, 61-39, and they will be at CAK this Saturday. Looking at the Midway girls, they are starting out 0-3. They will be at home this Thursday against McMahon Central. That's Midway Green Wave. Oliver Springs girls picked up a win over Rockwood, 63-30. And they will be at Oneida this Friday.
Now, hey, Sleepy, how you going to have Alcoa, Oak Ridge, and Clinton all in the same gym, all them fans in there, and keep it? Were you allowed to bring 2 people with you?
It's limited. They only allow so many.
Oak Ridge got a good sized gym.
Yeah, they probably got the biggest gym in East Tennessee. I mean, you can line them up around the top. So
right, but I'm just saying. I mean, it's going to be. It seems challenging considering how stringent the COVID restrictions are to have 3 teams in one gym and fans.
That's a good point, right? I'm not sure the capacity there. It's usually about half of what you can have. We're looking at some other scores, some other teams. Sunbright girls, they're 6-2. Shout out to them. Also, Sunbright boys are 3-3. They defeated Wartburg the other night, 71-67. And all 3 of Sunbright boys' losses been by a total of 5 points.
So they're playing some good ball, just losing it down the stretch. Hey, it's not very often I get a chance to do this, but I want to say something good about Wartburg.
Go ahead.
They sent a big banner with "We Love You," our Cofield neighbors, and everybody down there signed it and everything, and sent it to the school for Coach Henry. And that. Thank you, Wartburg. I'm sorry for a lot of bad stuff I've said over the years.
Yeah, that's pretty classy there for Wartburg. I'm sure a lot of schools have reached out. Going back to the basketball, Anderson County boys are 4-1. They defeated Grace 76-41. Clinton boys are 5-1. They defeated Jellicoe last week 85-55. Once again, they were at Oak Ridge this Friday. Harriman boys are 3-1. A pretty good team. And Rockwood boys defeated Oliver Springs 45-38. So they're 2-1. But that's going to about do it here for the locker room chat. For Eric Oakes, I'm John Williams, and be back with us next week as we'll talk some more high school and college sports.
Thank you for making me Amen. Remain standing there. We're going to sing hymn number 538, Jesus is all the world to me. Hymn number 5.